Good morning. This is Wendy Gaylor with the Chamber Vibes podcast, and we're so thrilled to keep bringing you great guests every week and really keep you informed on what is going on in our community, different businesses, and just finding out different ways that you can help out your business and just get ideas as well. And be challenged from these podcasts that we're bringing you. So today's guest, and of course this entire month, we have been focusing on innovative business strategies and ideas. And we also featured this year Gauntlet winner, which we were so excited, Candace Monahan, with the Sunflower Farm and all that she's doing. And so we wanted to keep that theme going and really feature last year, 2020, the Gauntlet winner was Lisa Broyden, and she is here with us today. Welcome, Lisa.
Good morning, Wendy, and thank you for having me.
We are just so thrilled. I'm telling you what, you are so innovative. When I found out about your business idea, I was so excited. And then, of course, it was so over my head. So I was like, I need to know more. And so we're just thrilled to really talk about and dive into your business plan and how you got started and your ideas and all this. But first, we want to hear and learn more about you. We know that you live in Blacksburg, but tell us a little bit about your background and more about you.
Oh, thank you, Wendy. Yes, as you said, I live in Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm actually a native of New York, and I went to school in North Carolina, Chapel Hill, but I am trained as an occupational therapist, and so I've spent 30 years working in either a hospital or an outpatient setting. So I'm very aware of the culture of safety and hand washing and germ control as an essential part of generally good practice. In the medical setting, we have what we call standard precautions, which means what you always do all the time as a general way of being germ safe. So in my life, I'm always very aware of, quote, standard precautions, unquote. But so I do triathlons, and I do a lot of competing and racing. One of the things I followed closely was the Blue Ridge Ironman that we just hosted, which was awesome. By report, I did not do it, but it was one of the best races. I've heard all my friends say how great it was. But when I go to these events, I'm acutely aware of the volume of people, the proximity of people, the different amounts of where everyone's from, the geographic merging. And so I'm always a big hand washer. So
and speaking of that was your idea. And we're going to talk about that because the name of your company is Germ Zap.
Yep.
And you were so pre-COVID with your idea. And I just feel like people like that, it's just something that's God-given to them. And so you were so prepared, and now it's so needed. So let's just dive right in. What is Germ Zap? How does it work? We're just going to dive right into it. And how did you get inspired to come up with this wonderful plan?
Oh, great question. Thanks. Germ Zap is basically a hand washing tool. So it is an automated system that cues washers through the proper steps and duration of hand washing per the CDC guidelines. Completing those steps encourages actually killing germs to produce an effective wash. One of the incentives for this, and one of the
benefits?
Yes, benefits. Or one of the ways I noticed this was we were actually on a cruise, a 3-week cruise that went through all kinds of cool places, and they had a heightened state of sanitation in which they were wiping down walls and railings. And being aware of standard precautions, I was watching people as they walk into the eating areas, which there's many, many of those. And they actually have full-time people whose job is to stand by the washing machine or the alcohol-based hand sanitizer kiosk and tell people to wash their hands. But I saw a lot of tapping of the handle. I saw a token squirt and then a walk away, but I saw very few times where they actually squirted a substantial amount, rubbed it for, 10, 15, 20 seconds, and then let it actually dry. And that's how you actually kill germs. So I started thinking,
Right.
I wonder.
Can we monitor this a little bit better?
Yeah. Then, getting home and being an overthinker and standard precaution aware person, I started noticing at restaurants where there's the signs posted in the mirrors telling you how to wash your hands. People rarely actually follow those steps completely. Uh, at one point, I was in a restaurant and I saw someone come out of the restroom area with his, restaurant shirt, and they did a very short wash and left. And I thought, oh my goodness. So one of the other things I am aware is I've got a, 2-minute electric toothbrush that if you follow those whole 2 minutes, you've got the peace of mind knowing you've completed an effective brush. So my thought was to combine the 5 steps of the sign that everyone ignores with a 20-second timer, sort of like the toothbrush, but to give you an automated way to just follow through, do a complete hand wash, and have that satisfaction that you've actually killed all your germs to really do a complete wash.
Yeah, and what a great innovative business. And then you had to go to the Gauntlet and say, okay, I've got this great idea. Now where do we go from here, right? Because I love your story that talks about you had this great idea, and this was pre-COVID. So this was like what, 2019?
Yes.
That you were on the cruise, and then you started getting all these different ideas and trying to solve a problem before this pandemic. And so it's so inspiring. And then you go to the Gauntlet, and then they've got the mentors there to help you and really develop this and come up with a business plan. So tell us about that and, how that all got started.
Yes. Well, the Gauntlet is key. It is everything. When I was opening my bank account at BB&T in Blacksburg, the fella said, "Hey, we are involved in a Shark Tank type program in Vinton." So I thought, well, that's interesting. And he said it's a competition. So I thought, ooh, sports, competing, I can do that. So I sent Annette Patterson a note saying, hey, I'm interested in the Gauntlet. And I actually forgot about it until December of 19, where I got a little reminder saying, come to the Gauntlet orientation. So I get there, and immediately I'm greeted by all kinds of just wonderful people with, lots of welcoming and happiness, and just the buzz and the excitement was just great. But in that initial meeting, I met someone that I talked to, and he is actually in the restaurant industry, but he's like, you know what, you need a proof of concept. You need a prototype. This is a good idea. So, of course, all this is pre-COVID. So I thought, well, that's fun. So he directs me to a web company in Blacksburg, ACI, Automation Creations, Inc. of Blacksburg. And that fella says, hey, I like this idea. You should do it. So he was the original helper with helping me create a basic proof of concept. And it also will has a associated database that will do timestamps of success versus non-successful washes. And it can also tell whether if you would like to program it to be automated for mass aggregate compliance data, or if you'd like individual data. So we started cooking that up with the Gauntlet. So it was super inspiring.
Yes, and to have the mentors and the people there ready and available to help you really develop this is so key. And that's how fast that this, became what it is today. And so that was in, I guess, beginning of 2020.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you're in the Gauntlet program because that lasts, a little bit. And then you're going at that with your mentors with the program. And then you came up with this great plan and idea, and then business plan. And then it just took off, and then you won.
Yes. Oh, it was such a great surprise. It exceeded all my wildest expectations. But yes, the Gauntlet was everything. Come down to defining your idea and exploring your idea, and then really finding out what problem you are solving. Not to just, hey, I have a cool idea, who wants it, but really say who's got this problem and what's the best way to tackle it, who would benefit from this, what would it do, what's the worldly good, which is all my focus. But then again, in a business, of course, you have to figure out what its value is and why people would want it. So defining all those and creating a support system, contacts for gathering all kinds of information, business plan writing, budget, all kinds of different tools from the Gauntlet really made this into a reality. So by the end of the Gauntlet, I actually had a proof of concept with a actionable database, and it worked. But without the Gauntlet, I don't know that it would be nearly what it is today.
Or just take a little bit longer, you know. And
That's
so
true.
I think it made it more of a fast paced and reality coming to fruition. So aside from the obvious health benefits, because there's so many, how would GermSat be helpful to, let's say, businesses and schools? And, we know this is broad based, it can be everywhere worldwide. But, this hand washing tool, talk about all the benefits and who can use them.
Yeah. So to explain like how it works, just so we can know
Yes,
what that
let's
is.
start there too.
I have two products. One is a soap and water unit, and that is designed for over the sink use, and it walks the washer through the CDC 5 steps and the 20-second scrub sequence with audio and visual cueing. So right now it has piloted it's in its second phase of piloting. It was in a school system in one locality, and now it's piloting in a school system in another locality. We have a anonymous data tracking couple weeks for baseline, where the box is sitting there and people don't know what it does. So they just go about their business, and it notes what they do. And then we'll tell the teachers, we have a little program of education that they can show the kids how to use the unit. And we saw a 300% increase in the hand wash compliance in the first school system, which was really exciting. So that is really fun for us. But the school system is the main target for the soap and water system. We really would like for, most importantly, the culture of clean and standard precautions in a school. But then also, especially in a post-COVID world when we're all really aware that this can and will happen again, we want hand washing to be one of those ingrained life skills like car seats, sunscreen, and everything else. So really that early education and lifetime habit formation is very important. Financially, of course, it does benefit the school with every time a student or a teacher is absent, it literally takes away $50 to $60 a day per teacher or student of government funding. So having that in the school system not only keeps the school clean and healthy, it instills good habits, it also saves the schools a lot of money in potential lost government funding. So that's soap and water.
And how does that work? Speak about that as far as the lost government funding. Is it the kids that are missing schools because of being sick?
Yes. When children are absent from the school system, that costs the government will fund per days of students being actually in school. So if you have a lot of absences and a lot of kids gone from school, that money is deducted from what they would normally get per child per day, because the government's not going to fund a school if the kids aren't there for those certain days. So it absolutely saves the school money in terms of the students. And then with teachers, there's a whole host of costs, including finding a substitute, the lost productivity, lost time, lost continuity, and keeping teachers safe also just behooves the whole culture of health, which is really important.
So, and in essence, can save the money in the long run.
Absolutely.
I love that.
So that's our soap and water unit. Now, both units are able to track aggregate, which would be for like the school system, we can see percentage of compliant or successful washes versus percentage of not successful washes. So the school then can use that data to make improvements, to help education, to sort of identify if there's a pocket of a particular class that when they go into washing, they're not as effective as other classes, to really help improve that skill. The unit also can track individually. So if this were to be in, say, a restaurant or a business in a restroom or something, you'd be able to know who is actually washing and who is not. Mostly for restaurants, I think it would be important, but that's just a cool way. It's not meant to be punitive, but educational. So the facility could say, hey, guys, our second shift is not, as great as washing as they could be, guys, step it up. So that's the two types of the school, the soap and water system. So that sort of then have morphed into a alcohol-based hand sanitizer system, which is brand new. One of our awards through the Gauntlet was a gift of Richard Manziel from IVO in Covington, and he is helped us really progress this unit and get it really cutting edge.
Shout out. Let's just do one real quick. Shout
Let's
out to
do it.
Richard Manziel, IVO.
That's right. So we have been working on a freestanding kiosk for hand sanitizer. So this is the same concept as soap and water, but it is designed to be integrated into a freestanding sanitizer dispenser. The unit is also programmable and customizable, and it also has optional inclusion of a reward code prior or post the 20-second completion.
Okay, let me stop you right there because I love that.
Thanks. It's great.
Talk a little bit about that concept and how that can play into this whole system and be used for businesses.
Good. Good question. Thank you. So the thought for that would be that everywhere where there is a hand sanitizer, if there were a just little timer system, people could, get their soap, and that would initiate the sequence with the hand sanitizer gel that a 20-second ticker timer would go, and the person would have a reminder to coat and rub and dry for the 20 seconds really needed to actually kill all the germs. And one of our thoughts would be at the end, maybe a little reward or a QR code for something that the owner of the units could set in, some kind of small reward for the washers, but to encourage that extra layer of safety again, with use of that system would definitely encourage better hand washing everywhere you go.
That's wonderful. Marketing at its best.
Yes. So the Purell, I think, has great potential for several areas. One, we were looking right now at indoor and outdoor venues. So, for example, the Ironman, to be able to have these kiosks around would be just another layer of safety for people to be washing their hands with 20-second actual use of the hand sanitizer. Other options could be that nursing homes, for before they enter the patient care area, that would help with patient safety, patient health. Not to mention the nursing home industry's had a rough time with COVID, trying to keep everything contained and everyone seeing their loved ones. So that's a good option. With indoor venues, things like concerts or conventions, you'd be able to say, hey, we have so many attendees and we had so many washes, which would be a nice way to tout the safety of your venue. Besides that, you'd also potentially decrease your insurance costs, which I think would be a good financial
That's huge
side.
right there. Yes.
One of our biggest thoughts also would be the cruise industry. Think about being able to optionally wash using your C card and maybe getting some kind of points through the cruise system, and that would help with their sanitation efforts and extra layers of safety. Things like gyms, athletic facilities, there's possibilities are endless.
Yes, there are. I mean, when you think about theme parks, gyms, restaurants, cruises, school systems, and you mentioned nursing homes, so many need this. And this Germs app is so innovative and inspiring for all of us to come up with such a great tool to use to not only kill germs, but to help the health standards of our entire community and then worldwide. I'm sure this is going to be worldwide. So exciting.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited that you are right here in our area and this has been developed, and we are going to keep up with your story. What is next for you? Because there's so many ways you can go with this.
Yeah, the possibilities are everywhere. So cruises is a thought, and as you mentioned, worldwide, one of the things that's come up in my research is air traffic, airports, and cross-cultural, cross-country germs. That would be a great application for the kiosk. What about with your phone app that you have? You could flash that in front of the unit and get a QR code that would give you a discount, or give you a free drink on your plane, because now, of course, those aren't free. But
Right.
if there's a way to implement this to not only just school systems, lifetime habits, saving money, decreasing risk, decrease insurance rates, but also looking at world health, community health trickling into world health, but looking at airports and areas of travel, as people ramp up their vacations, looking at any extra layers that can help provide germ control and safety as you travel through different areas would be a very lofty goal, but fun.
So many ways to go with this. Thank you so much, Lisa. I am completely inspired. I want to go home and start coming up with an idea just because you have totally, really helped all of us to kind of dive in. And, the biggest thing is to solve a problem first.
Yes.
And how do you do that? And certainly you were pre-COVID with this idea, and it is going to just, like we said, be worldwide. But you're from here and in our little part of Virginia, and we'll be excited to keep up with you and your invention and all that you'll have to offer going forward. So thank you again for stopping in and telling us all about it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we'll look forward to more.
Great.
Have a wonderful day and a great summer.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you, too, for all your time. And have a great day, listeners. Thank you.